Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going over everything. We're going to go over literally everything. And I'm going to update my guide and I'm going to link my guide in the description and you can go ahead and use that however you like. Okay, so sorry if I skip some things. I've done this video intro a few times now, so I'm already past updating certain things on my guide. So just kind of scrolling down here. So we've updated the skill stuff, or sorry, the skilled hero stuff to be not here anymore. Because now what you want to start with is you want to do your main quest, and then you want to do your beginner's guide, the novice section, and then, or sorry, the newbie section, and then the novice section in that order. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of stuff that is really useful. And you're going to equip it as you go. So you're going to get like these rings, and you're going to equip them as you go. And you are going to want to equip the armor pieces as you go as well. Please, they're like, I don't know how many times I have to tell people this, especially now. Please do not make Skilla gear. There's zero reason anymore for anyone to make Skilla gear. Just don't do it. You don't need it. Just skip Skilla. Just use the stuff you get from here. If you need help getting the stuff from here, like get a carry, it's fine. People will help you if you ask for help nicely. Just, you know, don't be begging for carries. Just be like, hey, I need help with my beginner's guide. Throw a bird. Somebody will help you. Okay, great, cool. So, just kind of, I'm not going to walk through the newbie section because let's be real, really fucking easy. Okay, so this is the part that matters more. So you're going to get Heraldries. All right, let's explain Heraldries. Let's start with that. I think that's a great starting point. So I pulled out of my storage here a 100k Heraldry. And so what happens, and I wish I had a little bit more Tetra. Actually, I can get a little bit more Tetra while I'm explaining. So you're going to open pouches and do dungeons. Ideally lab 14. Yeah, if you can get carries on lab 14 dungeons, great. You'll get plenty of green heraldries. And what you're going to do with the green heraldries is use these blue hammers on them. And you're going to get some of those blue little stamp hammers from your beginner guide as well. And you're going to take those and you're going to slap them on your green heraldries and they're going to become blue heraldries. And so what's going to happen is when it's green, it gets a random stat. And then when it rolls blue, it gets another random stat. And you're hoping that both of those rolls roll 50k flat. Sorry, guy, I'm going to ignore you because I'm making a video. Cool, heraldry pouches. Let's just, yeah, cool. All right. See if we can get a green one. Just give an example because explaining this is awful. Please, Lord. This is great. We have a guide with gambling, and isn't it great? Oh my god, we got one. Okay, so let's take a look at this heraldry. It has vitality and vitality percent. That's what you would expect on a health heraldry. And then it has 25k critical. This is not what you would expect to get on a health heraldry. This is the extra stat on this heraldry. So we're going to take a blue hammer and we're going to smack it. And wow, we got defense. So this is a bad heraldry. Why is it bad? Because it does not look like this one where it has 50k attack and magic power. Okay? And yeah, the goal is that if it already has 50k and then you hammer it to become blue and then you get 50k again, you end up with a 100k heraldry like the one I'm pretty sure I just threw back in my storage. And later you can hammer them again with the epic hammers and then you try and get more than this other 10k. Let's see. So here we have like a 130k. And we have another 130k. You have a good day too, sir. And then you can sometimes get these really rare yellow tinted ones with FD. And if those have 50k or they have crit damage on them, they're really good and you should probably keep them. But if you hammer them and they don't get those stats, you could probably just dismantle them because they're probably not all that useful. And you're going to get a bunch of resources from dismantling them. So, when you dismantle them, you will notice that you get Tetra. Woo! Tetra. And sometimes you get a lot of Tetra, and sometimes you can get a red hammer. And what is the Tetra and the red hammer for, other than buying more of these pouches? blessed. I love this game. All right. So you can get these things, and it takes 300 tetra to craft them. And there's 3 of these: ultimate, defense, and attack. And they can't be attained through normal means. You have to craft them this way. And they also can't be blue hammered. That's why this is not going to be a blue heraldry until later in the video when I explain how you use a red hammer to make these blue, and then use another red hammer to make them epic. Not very important. What's important is that you do need to buy these pouches so that you can get these heraldries, and then you do need to craft these heraldries because they are useful. And we can kind of just take a quick overview at what heraldries you need to use. No, I'm kind of skipping into gearing here before going back to my guide, but we're talking about heraldries. Heraldries is complicated. Let's just get it over with. So, heraldries. What do you want on your heraldries? You want your main stats. So for me, it says I am an Agi character on my character page. This means that I want an Agi heraldry. Okay, now I'm also a physical attack character. This means I want a physical attack heraldry. See, now this, you might say, wow, this has magic attack on it. It's because that's from the extra flat rolls. Its destruction is the physical one, and then magic is the magical one. You're going to want a firewall and a defense or a tent heraldry because they will give you defenses. And then you're going to want a defense heraldry, and you can swap this out for when you're doing like STG, but generally for raiding, you're going to want this because it gives you, again, defenses, and you're going to want a lot of defenses so that you don't die. Gives HP as well, so you can tank stomps and gust HC. You're going to want a crit damage and a critical heraldry. Critical is often the kind of joke stat that you don't really need a lot of until you start getting heavenly. But you're still going to need the heraldry for it. And you'll notice that all of my heraldries have flat attack on them and literally nothing else. And that's because, generally speaking, nothing else outside of the stats they normally give. And generally speaking, that's because you can get your stats in other ways. You're going to want a life vitality one. This is the one that gives HP %. You're going to notice I'm not actually using a vitality heraldry. And I have one in my storage. I'm actually going to pull it out because we can use it later. This one is worse than this one, but using both of them is good if you have space for it. And I'm using this int one only because it's a good FD one, and if I was running a raid where I wanted more HP instead of more damage, I would swap this in. If you don't have something super weird and broken, you would probably just have this in here instead of this. But I don't. I have this, and I'm going to use it. Okay, you're going to have purple heraldries. Lebria one, you have to buy from the NPC here. This one, and then you buy these to upgrade it. Cool, that's part of your guide as well. You're going to need this one. This drops from... Chaos Heraldries drop from dungeons, and this one is like nice because it has FD, but I can show you a better, more reasonable example of what you're looking for. You can generally tell how good they are by how much gold they sell to the vendor for in terms of how high the stats are. So here I have some examples of some good ones. So I have this one with 14k flat, and then 44k crit and 44k C damage, actually very nice. And then I have this one with Agi HP and 14k flat. So if I want more HP, I usually slot this one in. And if I need more crit and crit damage to overcap for higher labs, generally for STG, I swap this one in. But when I'm running regular content, I'll use just the FD one because it's more damage. I'll explain capping and stuff later. You're going to need a striking heraldry. This is from Gust. The Heroes one is from Gust. The Champions one is from FDN and is bad. You're going to want a Frontal Breakthrough. You'll get these from the Beginner's Guide, and you're looking for 20% on it. And if you get 15 of them that are bad and you dismantle them, you can use the material to craft a 20% one with no extra roll. You can see mine has an extra roll of 20k flat. That's nice. It could be better. But yeah, you're just going to use the best one you get. You get some from your main quest and from your beginner's guide, and then you farm them off mission boards. Making a video at the moment, or I would go. Cool. We have a Barnack and a Durant heraldry. These are generally cash event heraldries. If you can get them super pog, they're going to save you a lot of time. And occasionally they'll run free events where you can farm them. And until that happens, you can just use other 100Ks like this one, for example, although this is a bit of an excessive example, but you can just slap on your other like 100k heraldries like this, or even a magic one, and that'll just give you more damage, right? Yes, hi YouTube. Okay. You're gonna need this one. This is a temporary one for your Jade skill. We'll talk about Jade skills later. And this is from the BST shop. You have to buy it every month. Cool, I think that more or less sums up the stat heraldries. We can talk about skill heraldries real quick, because why not? So, skill heraldries. We have this NPC, and he sells you skill heraldries. And you can look at the rankings. Again, your menu down here, ranking. And you can look up people. And we can look at this guy who's at the top of the rankings, and we can say, wow, look, he's using these ones. I'm going to use these ones. And then later when you figure out which ones are good, you can be like, he's wrong. He's using the wrong ones. And then you can swap them out. And you can see if they're using Goddess Heraldry or not. Generally speaking, if your main skill, your Jade skill, again, we'll get to it later, has a cooldown option, you're going to go for that instead of a Goddess Heraldry, unless you have a 162 or higher. If you have 131, it's kind of on the borderline. You can ask if you should use it or not. I think generally you should, but, it's up in the air. People have different opinions. If you have a cooldown heraldry available, use that. For a skill like Flush, you don't have a cooldown heraldry available. So the beginner's guide is very nice and will actually give you a 57% heraldry for your skills, and you can slot that in if you don't have anything else. Cool. I'm not actually sure where that leaves us at, but let's just keep looking down the list here. Clearing dungeons, using hammer, Labria heraldry. Good lord, I might need to take a break to go get some water because, I'm gonna get really fucking dry-throated. Right, okay, we can talk about Dragon Jades next. And then, nests, you have to clear the 3 Riverwort ones, the 3 Riverwort nests, the 3 Anu nests, and the 2 Hermalt nests on Lab 9+, and then you'll get all the stuff from these, which includes all the important stuff. Cool, so as far as buying Jades, you're going to go to Mocha, and you're going to go to the nest shop, and she's going to have a bunch of Jades. You're like, why are there 3 of the same ones for all of these? Let's start with the conversion Jades, because they fill up half the screen. So conversion Jades do not change your element. They change your non-elemental to elemental. So what does that mean? That means if your class has an element, get a conversion Jade that is not that element. Okay? Because they have a penalty. So if I am an ice character and I were to get an ice conversion Jade, it would be bad because it gives me minus 15% ice attack. But if I'm an ice character and I get a fire Jade, minus 15% fire attack is not going to reduce my ice damage on my other skills. So as long as I don't have any fire skills, this would be good. Now, I will just say that I'm not sure. I think it affects your bird on your Aurora Jade, because this does fire damage, I believe. And so if that's the case, you might want to stay away from fire. So what can you do? If you are non-elemental, you can take literally anything except fire, and if you're like ice, you would take anything except ice or fire. I think that's generally the rule of thumb. You're going to want to stick to the limit ones. You're going to see we have Fatal, Limit, and then Battle, and this is Fatal, Limit, Battle. So you're going to take the middle ones. You grab one of these, okay? And again, make sure it's not the element your character already uses, okay? Otherwise, as long as you do that, no downside. So yeah, in my case, I'm not an elemental character, so I took an ice one. Cool. And mine are orange because I've hammered them a couple times. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. So, that's what you're going to get for the conversion. You need one of those. Then you need 3 other red Jades, and you're going to want, again, just take limitations. It'll just help you with capping. You can swap them out later if you want to, play around with it. But if you don't know what you're doing, just grab limits so that you can make sure that you're capped on your shit, whatever lab that you're running with other people. And then for defenses, I would just take a split between iron walls and tents to fill the rest of your slots. The slots you have to fill is everything that is armor, these 2, except for your upper, where you're going to use an allied life enhancement Jade, which you can craft from the blacksmith after running push or getting your conquest rewards. Alright, cool. We'll come back to those later, maybe. And then what you're going to do if you have extra red jewels, which is ideal, is you're going to buy, like I have, a fuck ton of red Jades. Doesn't matter which one. and you're going to start dismantling them for red powders. You can enhance your red jades, and if you get lucky, you're going to get 10 red powders. That's super awesome, because red powders are a cock to get. Alright, cool. And I'm going to just get rid of this from the beginner guide because I don't need it, because I already have a 107 from Argenta Rare Merchant, and you can look into that more later once you're better at the game and, you know, have a better understanding of what's going on. I don't really think it's a good idea trying to explain that to newer players, because it will just confuse people, so I'm not going to. And then I also have a 200% for the BMJ if I wanted to go BMJ, but I don't because it sucks on Duelist. So here, I'll show you another example. I'm going to buy one of these and one of these and see how they're different, but they're still going to give me red powders when I dismantle them. So once you have all the jades that you need, you just dismantle them. Cool. That's going to take us, I think, on to Talismans. Someone else will answer that question for me. I am very hopeful that will happen. Okay, Talismans. So they're going to give you materials to craft one of these, and so you're going to craft one of these. And then what they're going to do is they're going to give you more of these. They give you so many materials, it's not even funny. And then you're going to open these. And we're going to get a bunch of talismans, and then I will show you what you do with these talismans. So they're going to roll a stage from 1 to 5. This is a 5, we're going to set it aside, and this is a 5, we're going to set it aside. Chaos ones are going to look a little weird, and they can do their own thing. We'll talk about them after. Let me actually just pull that down. There's a 5. And you can always get more of these materials from Fish and Maze every week, from the rewards. And then you can also buy some with the Nightmare Fragments from Nightmare. Sorry, you can buy Maze Fragments with the Nightmare Fragments from Nightmare, and you get Maze Fragments from Fish and Maze every week. Nightmare drops the Nightmare Fragments, and then you can craft more. Cool. So, let's go pull what I have out of storage here. So I have some backups here. Okay, so what do I have? I have a fatal and I have a tent. So I don't need to craft this because I already have one. I don't need to craft this because I got that one there. I'm not a magic class and I have a magic one anyways. So we're gonna put these back in storage. Cool, and then we're going to dismantle all these bad ones. Now, if you're really desperate, you can wind the green ones, but you really don't want to be winding green ones. Just craft more bases until you get 5s is ideal. And try and keep doubles so that you can make backups, because I'll explain why in a second. So, you're going to take your stage 5s, and you're going to take your saps. The game is supposed to give me saps, but I don't know where they... Oh, I have to use a wine on a talisman. Okay, we're going to use it on this chaos talisman. You see, it's magic attack, and it's chaos, and now stage 4, and I roll it, and now it is not magic attack, and it's not stage 4. Chaos is the only one where it rerolls the stat. That's why it's a chaos tally. Now the beginner's guide is going to give me saps, and I'm going to use these saps, and it gives you almost the exact number you need to max all of your talismans. I don't know why it gives you so many saps, but you really don't need a lot more than this. So we're going to use a stage 5 talisman, and we're going to upgrade it to blue, and then we get a random stage. We're going to do it again, and we got a stage 2 that time. Wow! And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our wines, and we're going to wind them. Wow, 3, and this one is a 1, and this one is a 1. I actually don't know why I'm doing the limit, because I know I have a backup limit. Let me just get rid of that, and we'll work on the other one. And the goal here is to reroll it until we get to stage 5. Those powders are pretty useless, by the way, the ones you get from dismantling. The box that you make with them sucks. Cool, so we're gonna keep rolling this until we hit stage 5. Alright, and I probably have a better way of spending my wines, but my talismans are already good, so I don't really care. Oh my lord, it's sometimes it's this bad, but it's usually not this bad. I swear to God, it's supposed to be easier than this. Give me 5, man. This is the accurate representation of the poor RNG experience. It really doesn't get worse than this. It really doesn't get worse than this, I promise you. So what's supposed to happen is you get a stage 5. So eventually you'll get a stage 5, and then you'll sap it, and it'll become epic like these other ones. And then you'll wine these ones, but it's really hard to get above stage 1 on the epic ones. So what you do is you make a backup so that you don't have to roll over the ones that are already past a stage 2, which is why I'm making the backup ones. Okay, but mine's already 4, and as far as I'm aware, on NA server, there aren't any 5s for epic. So yeah, and you can roll the chaos tallies until you get, I think they're positive above stage 5 and 6, and then like a roll that you want. You can use that to fix whatever stats you're missing. Cool. Now you might be like, wow, why do you have these other epic tallies that aren't vibrant ones? Because the vibrant ones look so much better. You're right. So vitality, agility, int, and strength, those like stats, don't have vibrant versions. So you're going to use these things that you get from High Lab Nightmare or buy on the market, and you're going to roll them, and you're going to see this one is a life vitality one, and it gives HP. But because there's a vibrant one, we don't use this. There are no vibrant versions of wind or health or int or bear, which is strength. Okay, so you're going to use the old ones, and then you can re-roll them. Okay. That wasn't what I wanted to. But here we go. You get one of these fragments when you dismantle the epic one. And then you're going to go to craft, and you're going to make a Breath of Kilos. And then you can use the Breath of Kilos to re-roll these ones until you get ones that are higher than the one that you have. So getting backup of those is nice as well. Let's go ahead and bank all of that stuff that we don't need because we have better stuff. Yeah, we'll talk about the skill Jades after. Trying to clean up because it'll make it easier for me to find things, which is overall going to make this go a little bit faster and less painless. These are cheap and you can just buy them. Realistically, you can use a Chaos Tally instead of this. This is from events. This is from Dark Banquet. You're going to want to do Dark Banquet when it comes around. The Conquest Tally is from Conquest. They're going to change how it works, so I'm not going to go into detail on explaining how it works. Cool. They're temporary as well, so, like, you know. Oh, yay, it gave me 5 more. I will do this another day. I can't right now. That's a nope. Alright, so at what point did it give me my Jades? Okay, so it's just over the course of this, you're going to get skill Jades. One's going to be Dreamy, one's going to be Blood, one's going to be Verger. You can check the rankings and see what people are using for the most part, but it may be easier just to ask someone of your class which one you should be using. For me, for Duelist, that's a Verger Jade. And so you're going to get a Verger Jade that is unenhanceable and undismantlable, and you can use that, and it's super pog, and it goes in your weapon in the second slot. Until you need to get a real one. And then you can enhance the real one, and that's going to cost a lot, and you're going to have to work on that. Alright, so whatever Jade you go for, everything is going to revolve around that Jade. Okay? And we're going super off the guide here, so I'm going to have to like kind of pivot back into my guide shortly and like make changes, but So like my Heraldry is for flush because my Jade is for flush, and my Goddess gears are for flush. And you'll notice that you get the Goddess gears in, I believe, the veteran sections from these 3 raids that are really easy to get carried on. And it'll give you the helmet. So how do you get the boots? There's an event coming out soon, the board game event, which you can get your boots guaranteed. Otherwise, you can alt farm your boots by farming main quest for Goddess coins and paying the fee to transfer it over. You can try and use your Goddess coins at the NPC to try and get your boots. I'll show you where the NPC for the Goddess gear is. Yes, the Goddess gear is better than Minos. Yes, it gets replaced later by Minos, but a different kind of Minos. But yeah, you really, really want that Goddess gear. It's going to make a big difference. So it's really nice that they give you the helm, but you still need to get those boots. So in Red Lotus Palace, the Sunset Watchtower, there's this black portal where Cloister is. That's where you're going to run your maps and try and get your maps, and you're going to try and get your coins to get your Goddess gear. And you're going to try and just drop your Goddess gear. It's going to give you boxes and leaves, and you can use the leaves to make shoes, and you can use your Goddess coins to try and get shoes. And it's a whole RNG thing where you're just trying to get you shoes. If you get bad Goddess gears, you can dismantle them. Nothing other than shoes really matters because you're just going to be swapping them for you're going to be using Minos for the upper lower gloves, and then which the starter guide gives you, and you're going to use Goddess for your helmet. So what do we actually have to do here? We have to equip a talisman, and then it's going to give us more rolls. It gives you a generous amount of wines. It's actually a crime that I haven't rolled anything on this. Oh, okay, we got the 5. So we're going to sap the 5. And we got a 1. And now you can see it, we're going to wine it, and it's still a 1. Why? Because it's really hard to get anything else. But the idea of doing this is if we wanted to roll this until it was stage 5, we don't have to lose our stage 4 re-rolling to get the stage 5 epic. Now, I don't know if shooting for stage 5 is generally the best idea. It would probably be better to go for these other things. And you can also roll on your chaos tallies until you have good chaos tallies too. Although that's super RNG, because as you can see, like, there's a stage 6, and again, this is the only one that goes to stage 6, but it's HP, and do I really need this? No, I absolutely don't fucking need that. And this is where you're going to dump all your wines, is just trying to get high stage good tallies. Cool. I think that completes my novice section, so I can show you the weapons now. So we're going to go back to Saints Haven. Hope I'm not going too fast, but if I go any slower, we're going to be here for 3 hours. We might still be here for 3 hours. I don't know. You know, because well, it's already done, but I don't know at the time of making this video. So I'm trying to be fast, but not too fast, you know? I am lost. Okay, sorry. So you're going to go back to David once you've completed your novice missions. And you're going to buy the second package. And now I can show you what's in the package. It's 430k weapons in the second one to replace your 300k ones in the other one. Yes, the offhand will be lower than the main hand. And yes, I'm going to delete them. Why am I deleting them? Because I already have better weapons. And when you complete the veteran guide, you're, again, going to get better weapons. But you can use them in the meantime until you do, if you don't have better weapons, which you won't. Okay, so if we stack up our... It's already pre-completed some missions for us. We've gotten the titles. The titles from this are kind of okay. Yeah, you can probably... If you get the veteran title, you can use the veteran title as a stat title for a long time. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's probably... Yeah, but you can also go to the NPC and you can buy... No, I think the starter veteran title is better than Royal Problem Solver. I'll have to edit that on my guide. So before we go to the next section of the guide, let's go take a look at our guide. So what did I say? I said complete the newbie section, complete the novice section, use the gear as you go. I will have to double check if you still need to do this step. Okay, so if Blizz is wrong, we blame Blizz. Alright? It's not my fault if this is wrong when I change this. Alright, cool. I'm just going to... I'm not going to remove the whole thing. I'm just going to remove this part because I feel like you might still need to do this to get the Mirage Jade. But you can come back to this later because it's not a big deal and it's really fucking annoying to do. So I don't blame you for not wanting to do it right away and putting it off. But yeah, just you don't need to do this as a prerequisite, I don't believe, anymore to enhance your Jades because I believe you can just enhance them in Saints Haven now regardless of completing the mission. Slinky doubles down on this, so, alright. Yeah, cool. No! Not here to promote a game that I don't play anymore, thank you. Alright. Make your way over to the mission boards. Talk to the NPC. We do not do this anymore. So you're gonna, yeah, skill reset if necessary. Use inventory expanders to max out your inventory space. I guess I should add here, use the, well, I know, once we get around to doing the veteran missions, I'll say to use the veteran stat title. Search rankings, figure out your main skill. Yes, this is, and get advice and all that good. Yeah. Okay. Check your main stats. Learn about your character. Buying emergency medicines. My favorite thing ever. Yes, please. Buy potions. Put them on your bar. They're OP, especially for Fish and Maze. Where's our little NPC? Load, you ho. Kelly. Alright. Buy these. Buy 2,000 of these. I don't care. Just buy them. Buy them. Just stock them up. You'll never need to buy them again. And then... you will, because you actually use them, because they're so useful. Put them on your bar. Put the HP ones from dungeons on your bar. Although you have to be a little more, you know, careful with how you use them, because they're actually really good, but they're actually super limited. If you stop farming dungeons, once you get your dungeon stuff, and you're mostly farming nests, you're not really going to be getting a lot more of them. Yeah, okay. So, complete main quest. Complete awakening quests. Make a bubble coral exchange. Yeah, I mean, we can leave that in here. Get, obtain starter gear from beginner's guide. God, you pray for shoes. Prepare and reassign your skill. Max your inventory space. Identify your main stat. Okay, so let's add another step here. We're going to say, I have 2 3s. I should probably update the numbers here. Right, and if you see something and you're like, you should change that in your guide, please just comment below. Thanks. Cool. Complete veteran beginner's guide. And equip the stat title. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. Oh, whoops. Equip stat titles. So you go here, you go title, and then you find your title. This is a PvP one. PvP ones are really good. And you find whatever the title is. You can search, I think, by FD usually, and find the good ones at the top. And Dragoness Novice. And so you get the 4% one, and then you put that on because it's 4% plus 4% Ellie. So it's like 8%. And this one's 3%. I know, it's because this has not been out for very long, and I literally cannot do trials yet to get the other one. So you're going to do Kata DS, so that's at Zephyros. So you're going to go to... I'm going to go to Zephyros. There's one in RLP and Saint Haven. And I talk to him. And you do his little quest, and then you're going to do both of these things. Woo! This is a thing that you do daily. It gives you a temporary buff rock, and it buffs you, and it's cool. But, like, not super important to do. This one is actually one of your daily tasks, and you get good stuff from it, like magnifying glasses, which you can check here. World daily tasks, and you can do these, and that's good. That's in N. Event. Task list, okay? I'm doing a lot of tabbing and not a lot of remembering right now. I said equip a stat title. Right, so, you do bubble coral exchange. So if you're a Vandar, you have to do that in RLP. If not, you do it with your class trainer NPC in Saint Haven. I'll show you the Vandar one because it's the harder one to find. And it's also the character I'm on. They're going to have a blue exclamation mark, so you can find them that way. Vandar is a simp for Kana, so it's Kana. Kana is your class NPC, right? And it's all your main quest and stuff. Cool. And it's also where my next chapter of my main quest is, because they added the new one. I'm going to grab that real quick. Alright, so you have this thing called Growth, and you're going to hold spacebar. And then, wow, if you have 10 bubble corals from doing mission boards... You get 10 coral jellies, and what you're going to do is you're going to right-click, hold enter, still holding enter, right-click, 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 right-click. Okay, you're going to spam right-click, and your hero level is going to go up. And when it goes up to 2,000, which, you know, shouldn't be super hard, you're going to get, you're going to be able to go and talk to Gerant, who pops up somewhere around here-ish, and he lets you do a quest to get your hero skill. That'll come later in the guide. But that's what you do. Great. Okay, yeah, let's go get the other stuff. Alright, so let's go do Sunset Training Ground. This is how you know how strong you are and how you end up on the rankings. And you can see how strong you are. And I'm not going to swap all my gear around for Sunset Training Ground right now. Although, like, yeah, that could be a whole video on its own, how to min-max STG. I'm just going to do a quick 13 here. Quick 13. Buff. Super hard. Big buffs. I'm going to drop all my buffs. And we already have all the party buffs, so we don't need to use them. And wow, you kill it. And this may be kind of hard until you do some of your other stuff, so you may want to come back to this, right? This is part of your veteran guide. But this is something you're going to want to do. Because you want to get those 600k weapons at the end of your veteran guide, which are going to be your budget weapons for a very long time, probably. Cool, we're going to go back to town. I probably could have done a cloister while I was there, but I didn't, and that's okay, because I don't need it right now. I'll do it later. So, what do we get? We get the red hammer. These things are super uber rare, and you're not going to get a lot of them, and they're server storageable if you get them on your alt. But I'm going to double check now, but I don't believe these ones are. But I'm going to check, because, you know, sometimes they are. Yeah, it's not. Cool. Alright, so. This is a plate heraldry. You cannot use a blue hammer on it. You can use a red hammer on it. I've rolled 50k. It's literally as good as it can get. We're going to roll it. And we got critical. And that kind of blows a lot of cocks. But you know what? Heavenly Minos, which, you know, is that really, really endgame gear that you won't be able to get right away. You really won't. has minus critical on it. So you know what? It's fine for later. Whatever. I would have loved 100k, but so be it. Next up, we have Fishing Maze. I'm not going to run a whole Fishing Maze right now, but you can get a carry on that, and you get this purple hammer, and you use your purple hammer on your Jade, and it changes it to these other colors. And you want to use them all on the same Jade over and over, because when it becomes purple, you get a bigger bonus. See, this one's 4%, even though it's only used 3 hammers, which normally give 1%. So the third hammer is better than the first 2. So you want to use it all on the same Jades. If you have ultimate Jades, that's super pog. Use it on those. If not, just start with your limits, probably is the safest bet. I wouldn't start with your conversion like I did. That was probably a mistake, okay? Checking my guide on my other monitor. Alright, yeah, so we've kind of talked about gear. You have to get carried on raids. That'll get you your helmets. Trials are only open on Friday. And then once you're done, you get your bigger title. And then you get the weapons that you can put on that are 600Ks. Cool. As far as actual EODs go, I have a whole video on that. You can check out somewhere else on my channel. Please don't farm them. It's not worth it. Just get actual weapons instead. You'll have a more fun time. You won't die trying to farm them, and you'll actually get something out of it, whereas half the time when you farm for EODs, you literally get nothing. And I say half, I mean literally like 99.99% of the time you're not getting anything. It's not worth farming. Please don't do it. I don't recommend it at all. If you really want gold EODs, farm your real life job and buy them. It's much more efficient, and you won't want to kill yourself doing it. Unless your job sucks, but like it's much more efficient, I promise you. Okay, so checking the farming section to rack up gold. You're going to need to make some gold. We'll go check that out in a sec. Check the rankings, see which heraldries you need. Buy that, skip this step. Otherwise, get certs and whatever. You don't need to do this anymore, because you get one from your beginner guide. Check out the gearing section. We'll talk about gearing after, although we've kind of already talked about heraldry, talismans, and that other thing. Acquire your main skill Jade. If your class requires a DDJ, this may be difficult. This is not true anymore. If your class requires a DDJ, you are in luck. It's going to cost you way the fuck less than everyone else. Gone. Acquire your main skill Jade. Usually through buying it. Honestly, like, yeah, I mean, you can kind of skip this because you have your unenhanced one, but at the same time, you need one that you can enhance. So you can start enhancing it with cores. I'm not going to include that. I think if you're looking into enhancing it, you can figure out pretty easily that you need cores to enhance it. You get cores from dismantling other Verger Jades. Cool. Run Serb Beginner, you get a red jewel. Does Serb Beginner even exist anymore? Question. Does Serb Beginner even exist anymore with new guide? I mean, like, it probably exists, but you're probably not going to get the ticket for it. I'm going to assume that you don't, and I'm going to cut this out. I'm just gonna say use your red jewel. Honestly, this should go in the starting section. I should just move this entirely. To acquire a limitation conversion Jade. Along with your others non-skill vibrant Jades. Maybe I should put the veteran thing. I'm going to move the veteran one over here. So we're just going to... This is going to get moved, I'm sure. This is going to be 5. This doesn't exist, although I'm going to add that to the other part, because you're going to be running stuff earlier than this. Stock up on magnifying glasses and wands. Cherry. NPC Cherry. BST shop. Okay, let me show you this. There's this NPC, she's also in Saints Haven, and she has a crystal point shop, and you can buy these magic wands, and buy like 2 of them, and that's your oh shit button if a hammer or something, or an FD plate drops or something, well, and you didn't magnifying glass it. Otherwise, just buy magnifying glasses from the BST shop. Or you get them from your Kata daily task, which I mentioned the daily tasks earlier. So you go here, buy a bazillion magnifying glasses, cool. You can also buy your origin here for the thing, and you can buy your temporary, these things that last a month that you need to keep buying all the time. This is your skill reset if you need it, it's really cheap. Hope flowers are cool, you can buy them on your alts and server storage them to your main. But birds, if you need birds, don't try and blow too much on that. Try and stockpile lots of BST because you need it later to buy a fuck ton of these. If you have a bunch of BST, just buy a bunch of these. This is for getting your entry pass to FDN. I'm not going to talk about that here. Even though it's on the veteran guide. Yeah, okay, so like, yeah, for FDN to get your pass, you need to get 20 of those seeds. You can buy them on the market. It's usually better than buying them here. And then you go to Mercus Heart, and Merchant April will sell you the pass, the item to buy the pass for 20 of those seeds, and then you take that to Mocha and Saints Haven. She will sell you the pass, the Bloody Matador Rose, the bloody version of the Matador Rose. For you buy it with the Matador Rose that you get from Mercus Heart NPC. Anyways, so that's your entry pass for FDN, so that you can do your beginner thing. Cool. All right. You need a bunch of these things. These are really awesome. That'll help you enhance your Jades. You can enhance them pretty easily up to 10. Get them all to like 11 and then start working on 15ing like your reds and your blues. I would alternate between a red and a blue. The reds give you damage, the blues will give you HP, and they give you those stats at 15. You just get some amount of flat before that. And reds give you more flat, so that's why you prioritize the reds, and they're harder to do the reds. So you're going to take a break and do the blues, but you need HP and you need damage, and so you want to 15 those Jades, hit those thresholds where you get that actual stat increase. All these other side things you can check out. Those are cool. Let's go back here. Get green heraldries. If you spend all your tetra except for like 300 of it to craft a plate, if you get one, you'll probably get a decent amount of green heraldries you can start stamping. Stamp everything that isn't a 50k until you get a 50k, and once you have a 50k, start only stamping the ones that are 50ks until you get the 100k. Exceptions can be made for, I guess, if you get like C damage and you don't have a C damage 50k, because the C damage 50k is better than like a crit 50k. We're on STG. I'm just gonna... I think this is a good rule of thumb, but I'm just going to take this out because we have 2 7s, and you do that for your beginner's guide now. You don't need to do this anymore because you get it from your veteran guide. So completing it here, equip the stat title plus 600k EOD weapons. Get a mount. That sounds like good advice. Limitation. Remaining Jades plus 10 of them. Full set of blue heraldry, probably a good idea. From the dungeon farming. purple heraldries. And emissions get a carry. This generally still holds true even though you get a fuck ton of materials up front. They give you so many materials for talismans up front. They make it so much easier. This is for your hero skill. This is important. It's account wide. You can use your alt BST to get this. Clean unenhanced endgame accessories. The Minnows you don't need to get anymore because it gives it to you now. Now you are given this. This kind of holds true. This is like a small thing, but you should probably just get it done. Mirage Jade requires doing the thing, the delivery quest probably, unless they completely removed it, but I don't think so. I think buying a Mirage Jade is part of the thing now, so maybe you just buy it now. I'm not really sure. What did people say about the Serb? Also, need to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to try and hold out because I think we're actually closing in on the end, even though we haven't really made it very far into the guide yet. We've kind of covered a lot of stuff. It's been almost an hour now. Activate your 30-day things. Farm weekly and daily tasks. Look for carries and runs. Yeah, sure. Should put DDN. Wow. Start looking for DDN mat runs. Carries. I think that's far more valuable than wasting your time on BDN and FDN, which people don't usually want to carry anyways. Yep, that's going to be big, upgrading your main skill. Jade, that's expensive though. This is a good pre-step to getting your LPAT. Yeah, we move mat runs up here because people will just carry mat runs, but like they kind of want you to, like, you can get carried on DDN clears, but like people might want you to be geared. You really have to learn the mechs. Start trying to learn mechs and find DDN clear parties or teams. If you are missing goddess gear, go alt farm it. I wish this wasn't still true, but technically this is still true because boots. If you're missing goddess boots, right, okay, so yeah, and then I think it's good that my guide kind of cuts off here because, like, after this, you kind of should have an idea what you're doing, right? And then, yeah, so let's just move on to the gearing sections and things and go from there. Is my whole screen being captured? It has to be, right? Oh, yeah, that's just the centering. Okay, I'm looking at my thing, and that's, like, showing me what it's recording, and it's, like, cutting it off, but it's not actually cutting it off. So I think we're good. Okay, gearing. Gear. Okay, main weapon. No, there is no budget anymore. Beginners. I can't even fucking spell, dude. Beginner's guide. Okay. I lost faith in myself there for a second. Holy shit. Wright's guide, can't spell beginner. Alright, beginner's guide. EOD 600Ks. I think this is generally your caker here. So yeah, generally what you're gonna do. Let's just look at Warrior. Let's go. Where's my boy Hakai? I mean, what? I mean, I love this game. What do you mean? Cutting off my search. Well, he's not on the marking anyway. Oh, there he is. Alright. Here we go. This is normal. So you get a hardcore FDN weapon, and he's got it to like 11, and you got a Gust normal weapon, and he's got it to like 11. This is pretty standard. You want to try and get to like 13s, but like often you might have to settle for 11s until you get there because it's fucking hard to get 13s. And one of his weapons has a C damage roll, so it solves his C damage problem. The only thing I might say now that's different about this is like you'd probably go for like a Gust hardcore, enhanced complete Gust HC weapon or hardcore weapon. And we're just gonna Beginner's Guide EOD 600K. Helmet and shoes, Heavenly Minnows. This is true. You will need Goddess gear. This is true. Probably don't waste this, but also the starter guide gives you a bunch of jellies. Here's my pro tip on how to use jellies, okay? I'm gonna even scroll back up, and I'm gonna edit my guide here and put it in. Actually, no, I'll put it in the actual armor sections. Use jelly from +9 to 10 only. There you go. That is going to save you so much gold. Budget. Minnows, Minnows shoes. This only really goes for the shoes because it gives you the helmet. It also gives you the shoes though. Don't get rid of your Minnows shoes and helmet. You will need them for other things. Oh, Lord, why? Like, I like that the game is complicated, but also I know so many people are just gonna goof this up. So, I really hope you're sitting with me paying a lot of attention here, because I'm trying my best to make sure that by the end of this video I've covered as many important things as possible. Or that at least it's on, like, most of the stuff is on my guide. But, like, some of that stuff is probably not going to end up here, and you need to hear about it from other people, and I'm going to tell you some of it now. But, yeah. Alright, Insight Devo, make sure your uses Insight Devotion. Yeah, budget. No. There is no budget anymore. Use jellies on regular Minnows from +9 to 10. This is upgraded off of your regular Minnows, so. This is the same thing. I do agree with the thing about devotion that I said before. There is no budget. If you're a healer, there is budget. Exceptions. This is why I said at the top of the thing there are exceptions. Healers can use Black Dragon as a budget. But because the game gives you Minnows, you probably don't really need to do that anymore. Just use the Minnows, it's fine. It's not a big deal. If you're, like... Yeah, I don't know. It gives you, like, +7 Minnows. I don't know how you just don't just use the Minnows over the Black Dragon. I think you just do. I could be wrong. I don't play a healer, but I'm pretty sure you just use the Minnows because it has more flat and makes your heals better and all that good. Even if the defenses are, like, slightly worse. You can make up for them pretty easily as a healer because you're not really min-maxing your damage a whole lot. Accessories. Yeah, prime accessories cost like 3 grand each, and you need all 4 of them, so like just fuck it. Like, no. If you're a normal person, just no, don't do it. Doesn't matter. Just ignore it, pretend it's not real, and do this other stuff, which is... There is no turbo budget or budget anymore. Just use the beginner's guide ones until you get good accessories. I think for earrings, it is fair to just put it this way. And then turbo budget, I can put like just that. I think that's fair. Well, okay, we can do this. We can say sandstone necklace, I guess. The goal is to have 2 sandstone accessories. I'll show you my duelist. So my duelist has, and you can see how Hakai there had 2 sandstone rings, 2 sandstone accessories. These Minos earrings, which should be literally any other earrings, because they should just be something else. Like, this would be strictly better if it wasn't these. And an Abuba ring. This is on because I need to help cap my defenses for Gust Hardcore. But if I wanted to do... Oh, sorry, I'm dying. If I wanted to do more damage, I would get a Zoo neck, and I would have 2 DDN rings, and I would have an Ignis earring or a Zoo earring if I needed more crit damage. But this is going to be Heavenly soon, and this is going to be Heavenly soon, and then this is fine for Gust Hardcore, which is the only content I really need to run on this character. Right, cool. Jades. Section is written assuming you are a new player. Just these Jades later. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so like you're gonna need your main skill Jade, and then you're gonna need 15 your reds, 15 your blues. You should more be alternating, but I'm gonna leave this as is. The point is to prioritize the reds and then do your blues when you can't do your reds. I think people will generally figure that out when they realize they have no red powders and they can still enhance their blues in the meantime. Alliance Jade. How do you get the Alliance Jade? If you do Conquest, which is done by talking to this NPC and going to the Conquest shop and buying this ticket, and then going into the streets of Red Lotus Palace, and then going to the Own Mountain Gorge portal and running it once a week, and then going here, you can see that you will be awarded with 300 Alliance Crystals as long as you run Conquest, and you donate 5,000 contributions, which is 500 guild coins. And you get guild coins by doing these things. Don't donate to the ones that are full. You go to the NPC, you give them the item. Either you buy the item, you farm the item, or you... Yeah, I mean, that's how you get the item, you give it to the NPC, you get the coins, you give the coins, you run the Conquest. You get the crystals. Or you just run push with your guild and you will just get crystals. And you take the crystals and you go to the NPC and you craft a guild enhancement Jade. It will select the maximum by default, put a 1 and then craft it. And then whenever you get crystals, you can enhance it higher, and it's RNG after 10, but it won't break, and it gives you, as you can see, a stupid amount of life. When you're running STG, you can swap this out for a regular Jade because it will give you more flat damage. But for raids, you want that HP. You're going to leave it in 90% of the time. That is the chest Jade that you want. Great. Bonus FD rolls are nice. Attack, defense, ultimate, Heraldries. Yeah. This is true. Yes. This is being replaced with the TN Heraldry. This is true. Best in slot Heraldries. Magi or Destruct or both if you're a hybrid. Main stat, HP %, wall, tent, fatal limit, ulti or attack. Yeah, probably. Defense. Probably this is going to be attack. Otherwise you just use like 100k probably, or like a like a 50k FD heraldry or something. And then with the red hammers, like ideally this becomes better when you red hammer it and it actually has 2 rolls on it. That's when they become better than the other ones with 2 rolls on it. Even better if you can get 2 red hammers, but like you have to be Jesus to get 2 red hammers. So yeah, I mean this is fine. And then replace with 100Ks. I think this is fine. I'm gonna leave it alone. Conversion costumes. You get conversion costumes by doing your daily missions, and you're going to get fragments from these little boxes, and you use the fragments at Panya in Saints Haven only, and I'm not going to go find her, you can go find her. And you're going to open Panya's shop, and she's going to sell you conversion armors, and the way the conversion armor works is you put on the conversion item. You go to your costume thing and you put on the style, okay? This gives you the stats of the conversion, but the style of the other item. Now, there are some exceptions here. So you'll notice that these Verger decals, these L decals that I mentioned earlier, which cost 2 feathers each, which you get from co-ops or alliances, will give you a set bonus. And the set bonus leaks through the conversion. Lord help us all. And yeah, so that's why you want those 2. These 2, not the wings, can be cubed, and we'll talk about cubes in a second, but let's talk about the other conversion pieces first. So the priority is like pants and helm, and then shoes, and then the other 2, so I don't have these 2. For these ones, if your wings have shit stats, you go wings first. You can kind of change these at will by dismantling the conversion. But otherwise, tail is best, then wings, then decal. For accessories, you want rings first, then necklace, then earrings. And then the weapons, you get boxes from the Pandora Point shop from Cherry or from the market. Probably easier to get them from the market. You get these boxes for points, and then you go to the BST shop and you buy those keys that I mentioned earlier that cost a bunch of BST, and you try and upgrade them. And you try and get them to 10. And then what happens is you're going to need to go to Panya's shop, not this shop, and you can convert them between the weapon and the box. And when it's the box, you can upgrade it. And when it's the weapon, you can equip it. You can swap it as much as you want. But you'll see I have a weapon engraving on this item. And if you want to swap that off, you need to grab these things from Cherry, the NPC I was just at, and you can like move it off your item before you rebox it. Otherwise your engraving will get deleted. So yeah, the goal is to max those as fast as you can, because those are really good stats, and then they let you use the pretty costume you want. I think soon we're getting weapons where the stats will leak through the costumes, so you're going to want those too. How well did I explain that here? Priority, rings, wings, pants, shoes. Rings, tail, wings, pants, shoes. I think that's, yeah. Yeah. The spirit. Yeah, you talk to the Trisha, I think her name is, in Saints Haven. Lets you upgrade the spirits. You need like 3 epic boxes from the Spirit Pandora box to get those. You want to roll them until you get like higher on the stat you care about. Here, hold on, where is it? This is 2.6, I think, is low. The max is 3%, but and yeah, I mean, this could be way better. And HP is low. This is just actually terribly rolled. I would just re-roll this one, so you would get another spirit and feed this one into it, and you get the levels, and then you'll get new stats on it. Or you can level reset it and spend more resources, but keep the style that you want. If you have 2 of the same style, yeah, just feed this one into the other one. You'll get the full 5 levels. It's way more efficient. Costume engravings you get from RLM. Good luck getting RLMs these days. You're probably just gonna have to buy them. Get an attribute reduction one. I agree. This still holds true. You can get WTD engravings too, but they're generally expensive, especially for the high roll ones. If you can get some cheap 0.7s, like, buy them. That's pretty good. It's not really important for new players though. Now, yeah, Lindsay tokens cost like $200, I think. Yeah, and this is generally true. They give different stats. Leopard is Ellie, Baphomet is attack percent. Robot is HP. The little thing that I'm using here is C damage because I'm using double EOD weapons. And I need the C damage for Gust HC, and I didn't want an expensive pet. Otherwise, please don't get this one. It's probably not worth it. Didn't mean to do a kiss gesture there. And then the Hedgehog is critical, I believe. Don't bother trying to make an L accessory. Just buy it off of someone. Yeah, I mean, passives on pet skills, if you can get defensive ones, are actually really good. The defensive passives are better than the damage passives on pet skills, generally speaking. Unless you get the FD one, obviously, but that one's worth like $1,000, so like, you know, why? Just why? This stuff about the talisman's gonna vary from player to player, but like, yeah, it's generally true. I'm not gonna bother swapping anything there. Oh my god, are we finally at farming? Oh, let me add a section about cubes. Hold on, so cubes. Cubes cost like $50, and it's a 1 in like 46-ish to land the right one. You need 2 for best in slot. They $50 or 1.2 mil. I'll just say are 6 feathers. I don't really want to put too many like actual valuations into it. I'll just put 6 feathers. Whatever 6 feathers is worth in cash at the time. You know, or equiv. Thank you, spell check, for saving my ass. Yeah, that's no. 2 for best in slot, right? Okay, then since they are so hard to get, it's a good idea to roll some as a new player and play whatever class you get one of, assuming it's a good Jade for that class. It's the right Jade for that class, and it's a damage class. Obviously, if you get like a Saint or a Guardian cube, it's not really going to help you very much. But yeah, I would generally recommend this. I think it's a really good investment, honestly. But this only applies if you are willing to play any class you get. Otherwise, you are throwing away money. Cool. And I'll give you an example. I was trying to roll a single cube on my Heretic. And I'm going to be really low because I did a 13 this morning only for after the reset for the thing. Where am I? Where the heck am I? 13. Did I not update with my arch? So I have 2 artillery cubes on my artillery. It's not because I had an artillery and was rolling for artillery cubes. It's because I had a heretic and I was rolling for heretic cubes and I hit 2 artillery cubes. So I made an artillery, and now my artillery is really fucking strong. It might even be the best in the server after this STG. So yeah, I mean, you know, probably a good investment, I would say, but not for everyone. That's it. Like, if you want to play a certain class, that's not for you. Don't do that, you know? Okay, farming. This is going to be where there's a lot of changes because, man, there's a lot of different stuff here. This number will change. Hammer farming, highly recommended. Mag glasses, vigor if not using... Yeah, okay. Any nest has a chance to give a tradable hammer. This is true. You can server storage the untradable ones. You can server, storage, untrade, double hammers. If vigor farming, use mags. If not using vigor, only use a wand. If you see the hammer in the gold chest, yup. Great way to farm your alts, yup. You can farm higher than lab 6 now because your beginner's guide will make your alts fucking powered, you know? MB does not affect. Yes, okay. And we'll talk about Noblesse, I think, somewhere here as well. Tomb farming. Run dungeons until you have a mission. Yeah, okay. This is worse now, by the way. Jades, epic stamps, kind of cheap. Primarily farm during NB. Method mining farming recommended during NB, but also at any time. Actually, yeah, any time. Requirements: a mining mule friend, somebody who has a mining plus gen for a dungeon and will leave during the blue bar at the end of the dungeon. Rewards: fat stacks of lapis. Heraldries. Or regular dungeon loot. Cool. Tombs. This is like the better version of tomb farming now. You just need to make sure you have a friend who's willing to mule it and has the missions. Basically the idea is you all go in and then they leave at the end. So you keep the mining mission, which is a rare mission, but you all still get the loot. How it works. Basically tomb farming, but somebody has a mining mission in addition to the general mission and leaves at the end of each run to preserve the mission. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. You can also get lapis ore, which can give you red hammer. And you get heraldries while you're doing this. Requirements, I'll be 14 to 15, I would say. I'll put plus because if you're farming higher, you'll get more lapis, but like really 14 to 15 is fine just for the 100% heraldry chance. Cloister farming is still really good, gives Jades. I'm just gonna say got his boots. Yeah. Plunder. Best. I'm gonna remove this because mining farming is a thing now. This is generally true. Nightmare. This is probably gonna hold true. Yeah, I don't even think I need to read this. This is probably still going to hold true. Let's see. Dailies. Yeah, I mean, daily tasks. Yep. Watchtower. Okay, yeah, so torch pouches. That's for a single run. Strongly not recommended. Do not farm this. Cool. Maybe I should just take it out of my beginner's guide, but I kind of want it to be there so people know about it, but like I really wish people just assume that they can do it and then they don't think about it, and it's like, no, you can't do this. Most people will not be able to do this to a point where it'll like benefit them, I would say. And you know, you might say like I'm different. No, no, you're probably not different. Like once you've done it, you'll know. And especially now that you get free 600Ks, unless you hit 1 mils or, I guess, yeah, I'll leave it in because you can farm like 1 mils, but yeah, you're not going to hit a 1.5 probably. It's kind of deterministic to get a 1 mil, but fuck, that's a lot of pouches. It's really not worth it. Okay, let me explain stats real quick. That's cool. I think I did a pretty good job here, just kind of summarizing, so I'm not really going to edit it, but the idea is you hover over your stats and it tells you the percentage, and then it tells you the maximum percentage. The maximum percentage is what the stats are on Lab 13. Above Lab 13, you get penalties. When you go into a thing, you can check what it is when you're going into it, but it doesn't count buffs. So you kind of want to know what thresholds you want to hit in town in order to make sure you're capped for different content. So if I go here and I go to like Lab 7 or Lab 18, you can see that I am not anywhere near capped on my defenses, my FD, my crit, or my crit damage. But actually my crit and crit damage, if I was party buffed, would not be too far off of cap. Probably need a little more crit. And then, yeah, my defenses probably need a fair bit more defenses, and then FD is FD. So normally what I would do then is I would play around my talismans. So like some of the reason my stats is low is because I have this conquest tally here. If I was running Lab 18, I would literally just take this off, and then that would help me like be capped. And I would move up this, and I would move up this, because then I would have more defenses, right, to make up for those missing stats. I'd move this up. I would move this up. By moving these things up, it makes it easier for me to cap for those really high labs that I almost rarely ever actually run. So you do want to be moving around your tallies and stuff a fair bit. The goal is just to make sure you're capped for the content you're planning to run. If you're trying to push STG, that means you want it as high as possible, up until the highest that you can clear. I'm gonna be honest, this has not been updated since January 2021, and it's probably super outdated. I'm just gonna remove it, honestly. I'm just gonna remove this. I think that it's probably more detrimental to have incorrect information that someone might read, not double check, and then they make the wrong decision. Just check what skill Jade you fucking need, please. I don't think I referenced the chart. Oh, I do. Fixed. Absolutely fixed. Alright. Let's go back to charts and tables. Here's your enhance rates on some stuff grabbed from other people. Thank you to these people for providing these charts publicly for literally everyone to use. It's so helpful that we have these. Yeah, like the mechs might be off by a bit. I'm sure I'm wrong on some of this stuff. These are the unupdated versions. The updated versions are on my raid Discord. But for the most part, it'll help you with the small stuff. So it'll give you the gist of what you need, I think. And generally, I think it's going to bring us to the end of like actually updating the guide. If there's anything you want me to see me clarify or change in here, let me know. There's a lot. There really is a lot. I mean, it's been almost an hour and a half, so yeah, I mean, we got through a lot of stuff. If you have any questions, please just put them below and I'll try and clarify. If there's any things you want to know specifically about, maybe I can make a more detailed video about those specific things, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably not gonna do that unless there's like some really high demand for it for some reason. Good lord, who knows how many things you didn't see because my camera was blocking some of my inventory. I just realized now that it was blocking the bottom of my inventory. I think it's probably fine. If I missed something due to that, let me know. If I missed anything, just please let me know. There's probably going to be some STG videos coming up soon. I'm going to do like an updated version of like some of my STG runs, and then I'm planning on taking a lot of spots for the STG event, so once that's over, I'll put up a video telling, you know, kind of like how I did and what I did and how I did all my alts. I have to go back and farm this beginner's guide now on like a bajillion characters so that I can do that, because it's super awesome and I should do that. I guarantee you I missed something, but I can't on my life recall anything specific that I want to go over, so I'm just gonna call it here. Thanks for watching. If you stuck through this far, like, I don't know, subscribe, man. Like, if you sat through an hour and 25 minutes of me talking, I will give you more time of me talking, and you know, like, if you liked this, maybe you'll like that. I don't know, man. Subscribe, it'll probably be good. I mean, if you hated listening to my voice, you wouldn't be here hearing this now, so, you know. Yeah. I have a bad habit of doing this. I really want to just add something else, because I know I missed something, but I know I missed something, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to stop before I rant on for another 3 minutes and waste more time. Bye.